we are live.
And we are back. Yes. For a Div 4 game.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay. So, we have Nexus Most Wanted against Fat Shove. Fat Shove, obviously a free agent team, new this season, so we don't have much history there. And Nexus Most Wanted, tell me a little bit about them.
So they've been in Lounge since Season 8. They've made their way up. They started off in Division 7 and appeared in the Rare Cup a couple of times. They've kept on working their way up. They've moved up to Division 5 in Season 10, and then this is their second season in Division 4, so the only way is up for this team.
They've gone through the long slog. And have they won any of the cups they made it through to? Do you know? Or?
They haven't won the cups, no. They've made it to the knockout. They made it to the Rare Cup knockout stage twice, and then in Season 10 they qualified for the Epic Cup, where they only made it through to the group stage. But still, they're moving up and they're still qualifying for the Epic Cup, so that's impressive.
And I presume wanting to qualify for the Epic Cup again.
I presume so. It's going to be harder doing it from Division 4. They were in Division 5 last time they qualified, so...
So those teams that they're used to knocking them out of the cup, they're having to come up against throughout the season now.
Yes, but like I said,
they notably beat 40 Thieves.
They did.
Who we cast last night.
And we like the look of 40 Thieves, so
yeah.
I think that says good things about this team.
Look like a fairly comfortable team, don't they? So, yes. I mean, the teams that... 40 Thieves have had a pretty unlucky start to the season in terms of the teams that they've been drafted against.
Yeah, I would agree.
So the teams that have beaten 40 Thieves so far have been pretty strong ones. Free agent teams, obviously. Fat Shove. You never quite know what to expect. They have lost 2 of their matches so far. But again, you don't know how strong those teams were, so this could be their comeback. They could be turning it around now.
Definitely. Sorry, just a moment. Right, so we have had the map draft. Let's look at that now. So Nexus Most Wanted have banned out Sky Temple and Braxis Holdout. Fat Shove have banned out Battlefield of Eternity and Towers of Doom. Fat Shove were chosen for map pick, and they have chosen Cursed Hollow.
Nice.
Big macro map.
Yeah. Cursed Hollow is the perfect one to get a good measure of where people are. It's that map you start out on. So yeah. everyone knows it inside and out, and people know the timings, they know the rotations, they know when to detect when the other team's bossing, you know, all the telltale signs. So you'll get a good idea of how coordinated teams' macro plays are, how good they are in the team fights and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, does this show a lot of confidence from Fat Shove that they have some strong shot calling, even though they are just a new free agent team, to pick up such a macro heavy map in Lounge?
It's either confidence or perhaps they've not kind of suffered a defeat that was kind of macro heavy so far. So if I don't know obviously about the teams that they played against so far, but if they've not come up against anyone where they've really thought, bloody hell, our macro was nowhere near that, then they suppose they wouldn't know. But just because you're a free agent team doesn't mean there's not some really confident shot callers in there, or it also by this stage doesn't tell you how much practice they've had together either.
It doesn't.
Because, we're on their 3rd match. They've been together for a few weeks now.
Yep.
They could have clocked up some serious hours and starting to get to know each other quite well. And sometimes those free agent teams will suffer a bit in the first couple of games, but then as the season goes on, really starts to turn it around.
Definitely. We've seen that before with a lot of teams in Lounge. They've had a rough start to the season as well. They've played Evil Gaming, or EVL Gaming, who I'm not too aware of, but they've had a good start to the season. And their other match was against Munchies, and me and you, we know exactly how strong they are, so that's a tough first challenge in Lounge.
Yeah, definitely. If you're gonna lose to someone. Don't be upset that it's been Munchies.
Yeah.
Which map lounge did you say that we were in?
We're in 15.
I looked at 12, 13, 14, and 16.
Typical. Typical. I do the same all the time, to be honest. So strange.
So we are just waiting for the drafting to begin. Any reason for the delay?
I think that shove just needed a minute or two.
Starting for a minute.
Yeah, so we should be underway very shortly.
Now, obviously, we do our usual signs of coordination in the team, and Nexus Most Wanted have their portrait synergies. Fat Shove could improve, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give them time. You know, maybe later on in the season they'll have ironed out the kinks in their portrait synergy. We'll see. More importantly, we're going into draft now.
As a team that's been thrust together, it can be a sensitive subject. You know, someone taking that step forward to say, "Guys, let's sort it out. Let's really be a team."
Definitely.
Kel'Thuzad ban straight out the gate.
Well, looking at the lobby chat, someone was surprised by the Kel'Thuzad level of one of the players on Fat Shove, so that's a ban fueled by fear, I think.
Yeah, you have no life to Kel'Thuzad. We do not want to deal with that because a good Kel'Thuzad on any map can be painful.
Yep, we see the Abathur ban in response, which is expected on this map, and then the Rhaegar ban, and we've seen how strong Bloodlust is recently, so I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that's Rhaegar's becoming a bit of a mess about, isn't he?
Definitely.
And then Jaina taken away. Not necessarily target bans, except for that Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah.
Li Ming.
Yeah, good pick for this map. Lots of poke to interrupt the objective and.
Yeah. Fat Shove. Going for the aggression straight out the gate.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice, I mean, ETC with the grey main, you're making a statement there.
Yeah.
If I was Nexus Most Wanted, I'd be now starting to think about banning out or counter-picking follow-ups to that.
Mm-hmm.
So things like Malfurion or even Imperius or something like that. Instead, Johanna and Reyna.
Yeah.
Now, Reyna, Executioner, he's going to get that camp value.
Yeah. Best bosses.
Although, we've been disappointed with a lack of Executioner picks so far this season.
That's true. We've seen a few, but not exclusively picked.
Sorry, Exterminator, sorry.
Exterminator, yeah.
Yeah, Exterminator, but his team don't really have any slows so far, so that could be a sign that he's not going to go for the Ace in the Hall.
Quite possibly, yeah. So the Anna ban, which makes sense. You know,
sense with the Li Ming.
Yeah. Response ban will be drum roll. The Lily, okay.
Interesting.
This might be the signs of that some deeper research has happened on the side of Nexus Most Wanted. Or maybe they just really don't know what to ban. Maybe.
Now, Jimmy Li Ming aren't necessarily the best for fighting in the choke points here.
That's true.
It can be hard to get the flanking positions that those heroes like to take advantage of. Chrome's really nice for controlling.
And the Malfurion that you mentioned earlier.
That would have been nice. Follow up on the ETC power slide, yeah.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if on Fat Shove we do see a Bruiser that's got follow up. It could be like a Full Root, an Imperius, something along those lines. There's a nice bit of engage for Nexus Most Wanted.
Yeah, and the Anduin.
Do you think he's going to go Windblades, solo lane, and again bosses with the Jimmy?
Quite possibly. I think that would be very exciting to see. Dahaka picked up.
Dahaka.
Yeah.
Nice global, good on this map. Again, that's follow up to the ETC. Also gives them really good sustain.
Yep.
Which with the ETC makes your team a bit more tanky, helps protect that Chromie a bit. I quite like that Dahaka pick.
Yeah, I like it against the Varian. I feel like Nexus Most Wanted don't have great macro heroes, like really great wave clear. So Dahaka can really get some value there, I expect.
Now, I'm going to ask you about who you're going to be betting on.
Yep.
I'm going to say this just before I place my bet. I think the key decision here is actually the Anduin pick.
Okay.
We call him Banduin.
We do.
There's a reason.
Yes.
He has shut down so many of our hard engage comps in the past.
He has.
And I think that's what's going to happen here.
Okay.
I think there's going to be the hard engage. At which stage on this map, it's quite hard to get to the Anduin. You know, you can lock down the Varian or the Johanna. That Anduin's going to be positioned right at the back. You're not going to get to him. He's going to pop his ult, and it will shut down your fight pretty quickly.
Okay.
I think then they're going to struggle to interrupt it. So I will be putting my money on Nexus Most Wanted.
That's fair enough. I understand your reasoning. I think Fat Shove will get a lot of Darker value. That's my short, to the point reasoning as we head into the game. And if you'd like to introduce the blue team.
So on the left, we have Nexus's Most Wanted. Dryder on Varian, Bob Zoren on Reyna, Alpha on Johanna, Kelmore on Anduin, and Nexus on Li Ming.
And on the right hand side, we have the red team, which is Fat Shove. We have Calzador on ETC, Riz on Malfurion, Invest on Dahaka, Panda Rise on Chromie, and Gary on Greymane. And what a
Gary the captain.
Gary the captain. What a wonderful username that is. Plain, simple, to the point.
I mean, we had the brief discussion earlier that Gary is a name that is dying out, so at least they can live on in games if it becomes a gamer name instead.
Yes. It has a good ring to it as well. Gary the Greymane. We'll remember that one. Talents. So we do see Exterminator on Jimmy at level 1, so he'll be able to get those camps nice and quickly, especially the bosses, which I think is important against the Greymane. Greymane can take them very quick on the red team, so they now have their own sort of fast camp taker, fast boss taker.
Varian picked up Overpower, which normally suggests a taunt Varian. I mean, it can give him, obviously, that survivability.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we'll have to keep an eye on that Varian build, which way he's going to go.
Yeah.
And the hacker going for the extra essence as well. It's just going to be quite tanky when he turns up to the fight.
Interesting to see Johanna take Laws of Hope with the amount of crowd control on the right hand side. She'll have comparatively less traits to pop to save her from these Malfurion roots, the UTC stuns, the Dahaka tongues. So brave decision.
What do you think to the early bruiser camp by Fat Shove? Do you think we're going to be seeing Greymane just getting camps as soon as possible?
Yeah, possibly. I think it shows that they're quite on point with the macro. I don't know if they saw that the tribute was first on top, so they've done it bruisers then siege, which is the sensible way around to do it in that scenario.
Yeah, and they've left capping the siege camp as well, so they're definitely going to be making sure they get that right.
Yeah, good early signs that they know the macro, so...
Yeah. And again, good confidence. 3 games in for a free agent team, so they've either communicating well or they've got a clear shot caller.
Yeah, as you predicted, we've got a taunt Varian, so taunt offlane Varian. You don't see too often, but it does happen, and we're seeing it here.
Solo lane Johanna as well, with
Yes.
3 in mid. I mean, yeah, that you don't have to win the solo lanes, do you? And both, I mean, the Johanna got really nice wave clear. Varian's just gonna passively lose to Dahaka.
Yeah. Although Dahaka is top, right next to the tribute, so no Dahaka value just yet, but they will. Well, they do have the siege camp on bot, so.
Rob Paris is raiding with 14 raiders.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much.
So we see. I mean, Chromie's well set up here. That was a nice power slide.
The save by the Anduin.
Like I said, the Anduin's going to be really significant for shutting down the aggression of Fat Shove. But they get the first tribute and Dahaka straight off the bot lane to get that soaking and get that shove on with that siege camp that they timed well.
Yeah, I was gonna say in draft, I think Fat Shove need to be aggressive like that, and they did a really good job there. You know, ETC is a bit weak to Li Ming. If he just stands there, he can't really take too much poke from her. So that was nice. They've got an aggressive comp, and so far in that one sort of encounter, they've definitely pushed on there.
What do you think of having the taunt variant on the off lane? We know from past experiences that when you go taunt, you really want to try to be as aggressive as possible before level 10, because often then in the second half of the game he kind of drops off a bit.
Yeah.
So is he not just wasted there on the off lane? You're missing those opportunities for the kills.
A little bit, yeah. I'd like to see them, if they're not taking advantage of it early game, sort of mid to late game, they need to be looking for pick-offs, maybe like a lone hacker, maybe, they still need to get picks of it, I think, to get real good value, because if you're just using him in team fights, you could have picked a different hero, right?
Yeah, it's that, or you just like make sure you get to the objectives early, or get them on the rotation to the objectives so that you can get kills when they're not expecting it from the taunt. That Chromie is so well set up in top now. It's going to be really tough for Nexus's most wanted to push into
Definitely. The early burrow from Dahaka, but he's positioning aggressively to try and zone out.
Yeah, that was a good attempt by Dahaka and ETCs to zone, but the pressure's on Gary there. Taunt on him, but Time Trap saves him. Li Ming nicely flanking and throwing the orbs in, which, like I said, can be difficult on this map. It just gets the Malfurion kill as well. Chromie in a bit of trouble there.
Yeah, she's going down.
Yeah.
Really nice by Nexus's most wanted. They got the Li Ming reset, and it was snowballing it from there.
Yeah.
In that kind of situation. Yep.
Sorry, I was going to say what's quite interesting to see at this stage is both teams clearly playing a lot of heroes that are like comfortable to them, so they've built the comps around comfort picks rather than just trying to force a comp that's kind of specific to the map.
Yeah, definitely. We see Nexus's most wanted reach level 10 first. We see Hyperion from Jimmy, Blessed Shield from Johanna, Light Bomb from Anduin, and Wave of Force from Li Ming.
Light Bomb surprises me a little bit. Like I said, I thought he'd be going for the other ult to try to like shut down the aggressive engages from the ETC power slide. I think obviously followed up with the Grey Main.
Yeah.
But you've got the Blessed Shield. Light Bomb then, if you put the Light Bomb on the Johanna, she Blessed Shields and then stands there and pops. You've got potentially an entire team CC'd for quite a few seconds.
Yeah, definitely. We see the taunt on Chromie on bot, but there's no follow-up.
Yeah, nice bit of aggression. I suppose he walked away without really losing any health. And he's secured them that kind of bush and the vision there. But yeah, shame there was no one there to follow up on him. Greymane clearing mid still, so Nexus's most wanted can go aggressive.
Yeah, it's a nicely placed slowing sands by Chromie there, making it really hard for Nexus's most wanted to push in here.
Yeah, that slowing sands just...
Taunt on the hacker, the Light Bomb's nice, but it doesn't hit anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that slowing sands making it really hard for Nexus's most wanted to actually push in. So in a way, Fat Shove can play a bit more defensively. They don't necessarily have to overextend that much.
So nobody down yet. Chromie taking a lot of damage, and ETC's in a lot of trouble here. Really nice taunt and good follow-up from his team.
Yeah, ETC is squishy enough that, I mean, a Jimmy and a Li Ming are going to really hurt him. I mean, the hacker doing his duty, getting straight to top lane.
Being chased by Johanna. Greyman and Malfurion getting the camp for the red team. So yeah. 4 kills to 0. Fat Shove have shown some good team fights so far, some good aggression, but they haven't managed to secure a kill yet.
From the way that Greymane's doing the camps as soon as he can, basically, it really won't surprise me if we see some bosses being snuck.
Yeah.
Potentially now already. It's an interesting choice to do the boss now. I was going to say, because this is a third tribute, so normally you would kind of say we have to defend this.
Yeah. It was good. It was good that they changed their mind and they weren't stubborn about it, and they've acknowledged the situation.
I think they probably thought they had a little bit longer before the tribute would spawn.
Yeah.
If there'd been another 10 seconds, they could have gotten that boss done and then still made it down to contest.
Yeah.
There is a siege camp pushing top, so if you're Fat Shove, you want this fight to be over as quickly as possible. But you are fighting into a level 13 advantage. Jimmy's a bit out of position, and he does get tongued, but that Anduin saves him. Taunt on the Greymane, followed up by the Light Bomb. Greymane's down.
Nice.
Dahaka doing a lot of effort to kind of pressure that backline, but he's cut off now, and yeah, he's gonna be punished on the way out a little bit. Not entirely sure why Fat Shove is still fighting without the Jimmy. I don't think they're going to be able to stop this tribute being captured.
Down goes Dahaka, and that's resets for Li Ming. ATC just gets out by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice Dahaka tongue on the Jimmy that nearly got him. But yeah, when they lost, sorry, was it Greymane that they lost in the fight?
Yes, it was.
At that stage, I think they probably should have backed off. Tried to clear that camp in top before it got too much value and get back to soaking so they could then get 13. Because once they get 13, they could then have fought once the curse has been taken.
Yeah, it's very hard for Malfurion to save the Greymane in situations like that. I mean, Nexus is most wanted have got their little CC chain and they're executing it perfectly. Malfurion, of course, doesn't have a hard cleanse, it's just removes current CC, so... I mean,
even trying to like burst out healing with Malfurion is pretty tough.
Yeah, so it's going to be difficult for the Greymane.
So yeah, when they're focusing someone down like that, Malfurion's going to really struggle.
Oh, speaking of the Greymane, nearly getting the Johanna kill there.
If the curse was the other way around, that would have definitely been a dead Johanna.
Yes.
But no, I mean, he lost the fort at top, sadly for him. And they are chunking away that boss itself. So that gives them a bit of breathing room as well. Put another bit of pressure on Fat Shove. They're, by the looks of it, going to go to top and get that boss as well.
Yep.
Means they're going to have really strong lane pressure for the next tribute.
Is it just a case of turtling up now for Fat Shove and not losing any heroes?
They're on the same talent here. So
not for long.
Yeah, I think you would be now thinking, defend both these bosses, focus on getting 16, look for a serious team fight after 16. Obviously, Nexus' most wanted might kind of force the issue and not give them that chance to delay to 16, which they are doing in top lane now. But yeah, realistically, you should just be trying to look towards saving as much structures as possible for level 16 when you can seriously contest the fight. And there's 3 tributes to go before the next curse now, so they've got time to think about just soaking and staying in this game. Don't throw it away.
So we see them defending the boss here. Nexus most wanted, putting a lot of pressure on, making it harder for them to get that damage in. Looks like this keep may go down, or maybe not. No, it looks like Fat Shove will be able to defend it.
Interesting. I mean, the Greymane got a lot of value there hitting that boss. It surprised me that Nexus Most Wanted didn't just try to kind of stay there, keep putting the blinds on the Greymane, mitigate his value, and they would have definitely gotten that keep if they had tried to force the issue. Yeah. Now, if you're Fat Shove, you give this curse, this tribute. You just completely ignore it. You kind of have to accept that you can't get your Bruiser camp either. So the hacker shoving bot, I would be kind of saying to people, just get ready to defend top again.
Yep.
Be prepared for that bit of pressure, because you don't want someone to get picked now, like ETC. You don't want to pick on anyone, because that means you definitely can't defend top, and you're definitely going to lose it.
Yep, a bit of a premature burrow from Dahaka there. I mean, bot fort has been taken, but he could have held on to that cooldown.
Not premature in the fact that his team just shouldn't have been there to be risking their lives.
Yeah.
So he's made the right decision there to come back and help the team and try to make sure people live. But because they initiated the fight, it meant they didn't get that Dahaka value in bot.
Yeah. Well,
still managed to get 4. which is something.
And they're now on level 16, so they can get back. They're back in the game for now. They can contest this next tribute.
There's no lane pressure on them now. They're not going to lose any buildings by going and fighting this. Yes, there's the bruises in the mid lane, but actually they can contest something. Sadly, they've not been able to set up with the Chromie, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. So they can, and it looks like they're going to just give this one and then fight over the third tribute.
Yeah, it makes sense when it's in those positions. You have to push in, and it's very difficult. And there's that damage on the ETC. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, it's really hard for him to push in against Leeming, and there's the evidence.
It's wanting to go in and just see if they could contest it, and straight away
had tongue on Jimmy. Chromie takes a lot of damage and a 4-man mosh pit, and Jimmy goes down.
I thought the light bomb on Chromie would mean that she was going to die, but yeah, that mosh pit completely distracted the team and saved the Chromie. Johanna's getting heavily punished and falls. This is great for Fat Shove. They're now seriously back in it. They can get this tribute and look at kind of get the macro pressure back the other way. So Greymane, as kind of typical so far, straight to the siege camp, gets that as soon as he can. They're going to get the tribute, and then sadly for them, boss timers are still quite high. 45 seconds on the bottom boss.
We see a gank attempt on the hacker on top, and he is absolutely deleted. Perfect combo.
As a Dahaka, you do not expect to die that quickly, ever.
Never.
Taunt, and I mean, it was only 3 of them as well.
It was the father-son combo. The son brought his girlfriend with him, and she just destroyed the Dahaka.
Yeah.
That's how I'm seeing it.
The taunt, I mean, again, there wasn't like huge CC there. There was a taunt, and that was enough for Leeming to just absolutely delete him. Just getting nice single target damage out, definitely. I don't think we're going to see Nexus shoving mid. They're going for their boss.
Yeah, they're going to have level 20 in a second, so they have every right to. As long as they can do it quickly enough to get back up for the tribute, then...
Is it going to be a boss traded for fort? I don't think they'll be able to kill the fort quick enough. Look at how quickly that boss is losing health there. They're going to get the wall, and that's going to be it. Because Nexus Most Wanted can move up to the top boss now and get that.
So this could be a game-defining fight. It is curse point. Whoever gets this objective will get the curse.
Yeah, and if you get a team right, or even 2 or 3 kills over this fight now, plus the curse, that's going to be GG.
Yeah, ETC destroyed.
ETC gone. Yeah, they can't really contest this now. Dahaka, Malfury, and Greymane, all their ults have been used. Getting the boss as well, that's just making sure this is going to be GG, end of game 1. A very impressive show by Nexus Most Wanted.
It would take a very impressive defense here from Fat Shove to save this, especially with they're not going to get 20 quite quick enough, so we'll see. It could still happen, you know, but it's just, it'll be very difficult.
Yeah. I mean,
they can probably sacrifice this keep now. Yeah, they're quite rightly. They're going in, but Greymane gets absolutely deleted, followed by Dahaka. There's nothing the Malfurion can do.
I thought with having the Varian as well, the Taunt Varian, that even the Leeming Jimmy might struggle to get kills as effectively as they'd need it to. But there just was no way of saving people. As soon as that taunt went down, that was it.
Yeah.
End of the life, fight over, and Fat Shove had to kind of regroup. Do you think it was just the Malfurion pick, just not strong enough to save people from that blow up?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help. I mean, I'm not sure. I think a lot of healers would have struggled, to be fair, but yeah, maybe Rhaegar. No, Rhaegar was banned. Yeah, maybe another hero with a cleanse would have maybe made the difference, but then again, the follow-up damage was so on point from Nexus Most Wanted. Even it would have been hard to react, even with a cleanse.
Definitely, yeah. Even if, and half the time it was people in solo lanes, not expecting the ganks.
Yeah.
I think there was so much lane pressure that it just gave Nexus Most Wanted that freedom to look for those as well.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly go grab a drink. I will be right back.
So that's game 1 to Nexus Most Wanted, 1-0 lead. It will be over to Fat Shove to decide if they want first pick or map pick. Go to the map screen. Look, so that was won by the map choice was Cursed Hollow there by Fat Shove, and they were unable to win. They could choose between Volskaya, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Infernal Shrines, Dragonshire, or Ultrac Pass here if they opt for map pick. If they picked Cursed Hollow in the first map, we could see maybe a Ultrac Pass, which is a similar kind of map. Nice and big. I thought their macro was quite strong, so that wouldn't surprise me. Nexus Most Wanted, their favoured map last season was Infernal Shrines, so if they get map pick, we could see them take it there. Gary from Fat Shove still contemplating what they will do next. So he'll make a decision shortly. It'd be interesting if Yemek was here. I would ask him about respect bans, and I would be tempted to respect ban Leeming on the side of Fat Shove.
Good news. I am here.
Excellent.
I would 100% respect ban that Leeming.
Yeah.
I mean, even going into that map, like I said, it can be a difficult map for Leeming to look for the flanks and to kind of be able to follow up on the engage. And yeah, it was never a problem for us. So
yeah,
very good sense of positioning.
Yeah,
really punished the other team. And again, heroes that just wouldn't expect to die from one taunt and one DPS as well, where Jimmy wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Just getting absolutely deleted. So yeah, I wouldn't want to face it again. That's for sure.
I mean, I was thinking about the Varian, but I feel like you can counter the Varian. Like, I don't know. It was nice, very nicely played, but I feel like you can play around it, and it might not be. Just as a hero, I don't think he's worth banning. Would you agree?
Yeah. No, definitely not. And you wouldn't really expect teams to play regular comps around a Varian either. It worked well for them there. If at all, I'd be thinking, what can I just punish them more on the off lane for not having decent off laners?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, Dahaka's quite strong in lane, right? He can.
Yeah, he is.
He can definitely get kills on him, but he didn't manage to in that match.
But the thing with the Dahaka is you can win that lane, but you can't really push into the structures that well.
That's true.
Whereas I think if you took someone like me, even something like a Zagara, then you'll find that by the time you get to the first objective, you've lost your towers in one lane, and they're looking at other lanes, other pressures, and even just being able to get from fights. I mean, Dahaka again, as soon as the fights were done, we're getting to his lane, but he's just not that good at pushing in. So perhaps if we had Greymane joining the Dahaka more often, to whenever the pressure was there to actually finish off the structures or something like that, there's kind of macro decisions you can make to really punish that comp. So, would you be expecting to come up against a hard engage comp again? It's not really a hard engage when you have a Johanna. It's just
the Johanna made it hard for the counter engage by ETC. I feel.
Yes, definitely.
Fat Shove had that one really good fight on mid where they got a few kills, but it was only. Apart from that, they didn't seem to get too much value, too many kills. We are, sorry, assuming some communication's gone on outside of the match lounge. We're going to Volskaya Foundry, and that has been the pick of Nexus Most Wanted. So Fat Shove went for first pick. Sorry for the confusion there.
Yeah, I was about to ask you why we haven't seen a map pick yet, but here we are. I would seriously expect a quite similar comp from Nexus Most Wanted then on Skya.
Yeah, it can definitely work.
If you know that you can just kind of lock down someone and blow it up, this is a good map for that.
Yep.
I mean, even if you ban the Leeming, though, you just... I suppose I don't know what heroes they play that well, but if I can see that they have a Hanzo player, so if that's the same player as the Li Ming, you could see Li Ming replaced with the Hanzo. She
Yep.
could be replaced with Tassadar now, Orphea, and a lot of the majors are very strong. So you're not necessarily going to eliminate the threat of that sort of strategy happening again to you by
Yeah.
banning the Li Ming.
Yeah, I like the Hanzo here. I think you can land a good Dragon Strike on the objective. Where are people going to go? That's what I say.
I mean, especially if you're Taunt, Blessed Shield, you've got some long lockdown like that, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you've got somewhere to run to, you're just stuck.
Yeah, I mean, from the first match, we know that Nexus Most Wanted very good with their CC chains, so if they're going to go for that again, Fatshuv need to come up with a plan B. And they need to make sure they have a healer or something that can deal with it. I mean, they might look to pick up. They did go first pick. They might be looking to pick up the Johanna, possibly, sort of mitigate that, make it harder for their tank to get blown up. Because ETC, they got some good value from ETC last game, but there was a few occasions where he just got deleted. Like he couldn't have power slid out. He just disappeared. So
that's it. I mean, if I was the ETC, I'd probably be thinking like, "Give me the Johanna this time.
yeah,
Give me, I mean, this something a bit more tanky." But who knows? You could just go with the ETC having a nice, really heavy bruiser with it as well.
yeah.
Or like I said, get the Anduin as well. The support they can give you a bit more, a white main, some absolute nuke of a heal that will just get you through that.
Yep.
So that then you can counter engage and bring it back to them.
Definitely.
First ban, Li Ming?
Li Ming. And first ban on the other team, it's going to be Kel'Thuzad. If you ban him on Cursed Hollow, you're going to ban him here.
Yes, definitely.
Yep, there we go.
There you go. And I don't think there was anything too much from the last game that would change Nexus Most Wanted.
So they had the opportunity to pick Johanna, but choosing not to take it. So they've got a plan in mind that doesn't involve Johanna and the Rhaegar ban. So we said the Rhaegar ban last map because of the Bloodlust, but maybe it was for the cleanse and the fact that he's quite a popular hero.
Yeah. There's a few cleanse options in the game at the moment. But I would probably, if I was Fat Shove and the Rhaegar's been banned again, I'd be thinking, what else has cleansed?
Yeah.
What can I take that's going to get me through this lockdown?
First pick Garrosh, and it's Gary the Garrosh.
Gary the Garrosh after Gary the Greymane.
Gary is killing it with his hero choices this game, and Nexus Most Wanted to respond with Varian and Jaina, so higher priority on that Varian.
And that's changing nothing for if you had Li Ming banned, Jaina is going to deliver exactly the same bang.
Yep.
So be careful. Get that cleanse. Get ready to save Gary. Because, I mean, even Jaina's quite annoying when you're Garrosh.
Yeah, the slows can really hurt, and they can really kill and engage.
Yeah. And even as Garrosh, you're relying on... You've got your own ability to heal yourself, so Taunt shuts down that ability to self-heal. Sonya? Quite an aggressive off-laner pick.
Yeah, it's an early pickup as well. Surprised by how early it is, but I suppose it leaves they're leaving the support option open, which might be a good plan. Nexus.
Do you think they're just expecting the Varian to be an off-lane again?
Yeah, I mean, Strider has crafted it, and so you would expect it on the offlane at this point, but it could be swapped over to a main tank variant perhaps, so we'll have to see. Lunara ban.
She gives you nice macro plays on this as well as a bit of extra damage. So
yeah, So we've got Greymane still open, perhaps he could pair nicely. Although Jimmy would make sense against the Garrosh, and there he is, and the Anduin once more. Kelmore did a really good job on Anduin last game. The traits, the leap of faith, were on point every time.
Yeah. I possibly would have considered the Anduin as a respect ban. Probably instead of the Lunara.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially when you knew you were picking up the Garrosh.
Yeah, and it's so annoying as a Garrosh. You finally get past all of those Jaina slows, you throw someone in, and Anduin says, "Thank you, I'll have that back."
Kael'thas and Deckard to round it off for Fat Shove. I really like the Deckard pick.
Deckard's just good on this map, isn't he? Solid, reliable, double mage.
We've said it before. You just need to get to the objective early. That's how Deckard works. You need to get there, set up. Otherwise, you can struggle to push in, especially against that Jimmy and Jaina.
And there was a few times in the early game of the last game that Fat Shove did get there early with the Chrome. He did set up and had some nice time, so they could do it again.
Yeah.
ETC with the variant, so Power Slide, Taunts, Jaina and Jimmy blow up. I mean, they can kill a Garrosh easily.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the self cleanse chat. We're hoping for an Ufa, and I agree that could have been very nice. But they go for Deckard, who doesn't have a cleanse, so and Garrosh does have a self cleanse, but still, it's brave.
Yeah, I mean, you have to really preempt it, and even if you preempt the taunt and you self cleanse, there's still going to be an ETC there itching to power slide on you. So yeah, it's like a 60-second cooldown or something. So gets you out of trouble once, and then you're still going to have the same problem.
Yes.
Do you think it's going to be a leap Sonya? I mean, if you're Sonya and you leap in, you're putting yourself in a lot of trouble.
That's true. Hard to say. I think I wouldn't mind the leap here. I think it could work. Okay,
so on the blue team, in the blue corner, we have Nexus Most Wanted, who are currently 1-0 up in this match. We have Strider on Varian, Bob Zorzen on Reyna, Alpha on ETC, Kelmore on Anduin, and Nexus on Jaina.
Yeah, and the red team, we have Fat Shove, we have Gary moving to tank, he's on Garrosh, we have Calzador on Sonya, Riz on Gul'dan, Pandarize on Deckard, and Invest on Kael'thas.
Now, have we missed betting?
I've just turned it on.
Okay. I mean, I think I know who you're going to bet for, because it's the same as who I'm going to bet for. It's got to be Nexus Most Wanted here, right?
I'm disagreeing with you. I think that Shove seemed confident, and I'm confident about them. I believe.
I just think...
Really nice damage coming out onto the ETC early on there, but Anduin does keep him alive. Sorry?
As a Garrosh player, I don't want to be playing Garrosh into this comp.
I agree, but I think...
It depends. I mean, Deckard can save him. Deckard can put a load of potions down on him, keep him alive. He's tanky enough that he might get away with it. Throw on ETC, but power slide straight back out. Both teams obviously doing the 4-man rotation. We're seeing, so far, nothing more than a stalemate and a lot of spinning around from Sonya and Varian in bot lane.
Yeah.
Jimmy straight on the camp, getting that exterminator. Getting that exterminator value. Not seeing anyone picking up the camp so far for Fat Shove. Is this perhaps falling victim to the fact that Gary's normally their camp man?
Yes, maybe. Like Gary was on Greymane last match, and he was on those camps the second they spawned. Very on point. I think you're right.
Do you think the double mages are going to seriously be able to get kills?
Possibly.
I think they're going to struggle. I think they're really going to struggle.
I mean,
think you horrify the ETC and the Varian. Can the Kael'thas then follow up quick enough? I suppose if he lands his full combo on the ETC, sure.
Yeah, I think against an ETC, yes. Although they didn't know that it was going to be an ETC when they picked it.
Yeah.
I think if there's one tank you can, well, maybe more than one, but I think you can kill an ETC like that. I think.
I think if one of those mages were better at single target damage, but they're both AoE spell
That's true.
dealers mainly. I mean, unless you're going for the old Garrosh throws someone to group the other team up, and then you're hoping to literally AoE down the team, cause a bit of chaos. Sonya goes in on one person.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it could have been maybe a bit of a struggling draft. Maybe they've sort of decided on 4 heroes, and then it came to the last person, and maybe not knowing each other's hero pools as well, they weren't sure what else to pick. I don't want to accuse them of misdrafting or anything, but that might be the case. Looking for a gank on the Varian bot, and he's in a dangerous spot.
Got the stun.
Do they have the damage though? Ooh,
no, Kel'Thas just a bit late there on the rotation, but I mean, it was an aggressive gank. I like the effort. So Jimmy's now successfully cleared top. Both teams level 6.
The turret camp will be back up for Nexus Most Wanted in 20 seconds, so... And they did get the first 20% of the objective, so they should be able to capture that quite comfortably.
Sonya going to soap top, that probably suggests...
Nice taunt on the Killfast, but Varian gets thrown over in response. Killfast does get deleted though. Yeah.
So it's going to be a trade. Gary just getting out with his life. No,
Gary got out with his life. Strider wasn't put under any pressure after being thrown over. That's usually a death sentence, but I think the pressure on the Killfast was just too distracting.
Gul'dan had just used his spells. Kel'Thas obviously died. But yeah, that's disappointing for Garrosh to throw someone into your base and see them just casually walk back out. I suppose if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be a Varian, able to just deflect those auto attacks.
So, both teams on level 7 Deckard's nicely set up with potions on the objective, but Nexus Most Wanted do have 2 turrets, so that's a bit of an advantage for them. See both teams squaring up per turret used. Varian's going to get thrown in here.
Gary's dead. 2 turrets focusing him. Deckard as well, and they steal the turret back. Yeah, that single target damage, both those turrets were focusing Garrosh.
Yeah.
And as soon as Garrosh died, they both started focusing Deckard as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not happy coincidences for Fat Shelf.
Nexus Most Wanted very decisively stealing their enemy's turret there before they capture the objective, so they've got 2 turrets for the next engage.
2 turrets ready to go, and I'm sure by the time this protector goes down, they'll be ready to capture turrets again.
Jaina might be in trouble here. She uses the turrets.
Good use of the unstoppable by Garrosh, but they turn around and kill Kel'Thas back.
Yeah, nice taunt and follow up with the protector.
Yeah.
Jaina did use the turret before she went down, so not the worst case, and they have hit level 10 now, Nexus Most Wanted, so they could snowball this a little bit. They get the well on top, as you expect on this map, ready for the next objective. Meanwhile, Sonya and Varian are battling it out on bot.
They can kind of afford to regroup out now, Nexus Most Wanted, and decide what they're going to do with the rest of this protector. 5 seconds. There's no pressure on them at the moment. Jaina, a bit of indecision, possibly going down to bottom for a gank. Throw on ETC, but as expected, Anduin just says, thanks, I'll have my tank back.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fat Shove needs to play on that now. They know that cooldown is down for 80 seconds, I believe, so...
Force the fight again.
Yeah, they need to look for another good throw. They've got just over a minute. Take advantage of it. Gary looks like he wants to get it.
He wanted that, yeah. Completely wanted that.
Probably good that he backed off there. I think he would have been a bit isolated, but it's a good sign that he might be... He's eager to exploit that cooldown.
Definitely. Another turret for Nexus.
In terms of heroics, we've not mentioned them.
Oh, we haven't mentioned them. So,
Stage Dive ETC, interesting choice.
I was going to say, that's where my eyes went straight away to look at that. That's the... I mean, he could have gone Mosh Pit. He got the Horrify, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of interrupts, even accidental interrupts like this stay a while or.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the threat of it, isn't it? I mean, if he gets value from the stage dive, then I think that's a valid choice.
Wrath of the Berserker for Sonya. So
Yeah,
she's going to be hopefully following up, obviously, on like single target, whoever gets thrown, whoever gets horrified.
yeah. I think that the stay a while could be very useful if Garrosh can get that throw, which he has been getting. The stay a while can be used to zone out the rest of Nexus Most Wanted. All that damage that's been coming in and killing the Garrosh. So if that's well timed, that could be very nice. That could be the sort of solution for them these team fights.
Thatchev knew they were doing the healing camp then, and just obviously couldn't answer to it because they had the Gul'dan and Sonya and bot. Yeah, I mean, we could see literally them just go for 5-man blow up, try to get as much damage on whoever Garrosh throws and taunts.
Yeah. We've got the Horrify as well for zoning the rest of the team, so they've got the tools. It'll be interesting to see how they use them.
I kind of want to see this go well for Thatchev. That variant. No, that was the wrong way to throw him.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Living bomb being spread. Really
stay
nice
a while, really getting that bomb value. There's ETC in the back line, which they can just turn on. But Gul'dan and Kel'Thas deciding to try to save themselves, and then Gul'dan rotating poorly to get picked off.
And he loses the turret in the process.
I think that was a bit of frustration in not being able to follow up on that ETC.
Yeah.
To then force the two majors to miss position.
I think that was really nice from Nexus. No, from Fatshove. They started off really well in that fight, and made some good decisions.
I was surprised that Garrosh threw the variant away from after he'd already used his taunt and his E. That he then didn't go. Actually, you can go further into the team and get isolated and killed. Because Nexus wasn't in really a position to follow up on him at that stage.
Yeah.
But here we go again. I mean, super low cooldowns for Thatchev.
Yeah.
So they can look for repeated fights if one goes badly. If they manage to stay alive, they can re-engage. But all the cooldowns off for Nexus as well. So we are well set up with Deckard.
Yeah. Nice big potions.
There's a throw on Jimmy.
Massive damage going out on Garrosh. Stay a while saves him. He gets into some potions, but Deckard's in trouble, and Garrosh saves him with Into the Fray.
Now, interesting thing here is... Oh, unlucky Jaina.
Nice crowd control on Sonya. A lot of damage going out. ETC gets thrown under the towers. He's taking massive damage, but he's gonna get out. Sonya's still spinning around. She's got some potions if she goes up. Oh no, she's going back in. She wants that ETC. But he's going to get out. So 1 kill in favour of...
has no chill. He wants to fight.
Deckard going in on the point to interrupt the stall, but he's not got his Garrosh or his Sonya. He could be in a lot of trouble here. He is a tank, but he's not quite tanky enough.
Enough for that, yeah. Can't quite get away with that miss.
Nice throw on the ETC.
Is he going to get away? Yeah,
I think he is. Well, they've got Nexus Most Wanted off the objective for now, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep them off it.
I think the problem with the last fight is Deckard had set up really nicely, but as soon as the fight happened, everyone moved away from where all the potions were into the lane, and then didn't pick up any of the potions. So I think they need to make a bit more of a conscious effort to say, this is where we're set up. The majors need to stay near us. Potions.
ETC could have finished channeling the objective there, but chose to go get a globe as his team capture the healing camp, but then Garrosh invades and steals the item, puts it down, but goes down.
Light bomb wasted.
Oh, aggressive flank from Jaina there, nearly killing the Sonya, and does kill the Sonya.
What I would say there is, I would have expected Fatshove comp to thrive fighting in that situation there.
Yeah.
Where Nexus Most Wanted are really grouped up, so you're going to get that living bomb spread.
Yep.
You're going to get the Gul'dan value. but they just weren't able to.
Yeah,
I wasn't
they were
quite
they were fighting a talent tier down, so that
yeah.
might have had an impact. But
But,
they've hit 16 now. They're certainly not out of this game. Seen some nice team fights from them so far, so they just need to defend this, try not to, you know, trickle feed, and see how they get on with the next objective. Talent's looking fairly usual, I would say.
yeah, I'm not saying anything outrageous there.
Pale fast going for the living bomb build, so he's acknowledging that they're going to be fighting in those
Points.
yeah, those choke points, and he's got some decent value so far, so that could be very impactful late game.
Definitely. I mean, at any stage they could be fighting over a turret or anything like that, and the living bomb would just decide a fight if it was spreading. Sonya trying to double so. ETC just finishing off a well in mid.
Gul'dan's at 21 out of 40 stacks record corruption. That will be a big power spike if he can manage to complete it. Jaina does have a ice block, so if she gets thrown in, she's got a bit of protection there. Both teams look like they're going for their turrets. Nexus Most Wanted is picked up very quickly, and what will we see next? The siege camps are up. It's camp time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's camp time. It's regroup. Get your kind of
good communication from the red team there. They saw the team was rotating up. You could see the retreat pings, so that's very nice.
Spam the retreat button.
Yeah.
And we're going to see an invade here potentially. I think if you're Nexus Most Wanted, yeah, you look for that bottom fort surely as the most valuable thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I would probably posture 4 bottom, possibly send 1 top to just clear that.
I mean, they've got a level lead. I would be tempted just to. I mean, if you can get a bit of damage on bot, great, but you can't just wait till 20 now, really. Ooh, stay a while. A split second too late to save the Garrosh. There was a lot of damage on him there. He couldn't quite survive.
In terms of like Garrosh there, it was a nice throw, followed by a nice unstoppable to keep himself alive. He got the stun following up on the throw as well. If his team were there, that was the right sequence of play from Garrosh to get them a really nice engage on the fight. But he was alone. So again, at a certain point, you just go, I just have to give this fort. If my team's not here, I think if we're doing other things to try to catch us up on XP, we have to accept we lose the fort.
It was good awareness from Nexus's Most Wanted. They saw that and they took advantage of it, and Deckard is too far out. He goes down.
That was a really nice slow from the Varian to just slow the Deckard down enough for the power slide to come in for the taunt.
Yeah.
There's the living bomb.
There's some really good map awareness from Nexus's Most Wanted. They're seeing heroes, on the other side of the map. They're seeing an opportunity for a gank and they're taking it.
They have so much lane pressure that they can afford. Like they're doing that because there's nothing else for them to do now.
Yeah.
They have every camp. They can't really push anything because the forts make it a lot more difficult now.
Yeah.
There's that threat of always getting a Garrosh throw. So looking for a pick is definitely their best option. But other than that, they're just going to be watching these timers on the camps getting ready to capture them.
I mean, they've got a level 20 advantage. Could they do something aggressive here? Or...
Get this turret and then look for a fight.
Yeah.
It's surely as simple as that. And I think if you're Fat Shove, you just have none of it. Just back up. Just go. Even like Sonya in top, I would clear that wave and I would disappear because I know they're going to want to fight. They're going to want kills.
Anything like in a lot of trouble here.
Being overextended. That was nicely saved by the Kel'Thas.
Yeah. Nice stay a while and horrify.
They did a lot to keep that Gul'dan alive there. Kel'Thas peeling perfectly landed his skill shot. The stay a while, the Garrosh throw on the Gul'dan. Don't throw it away now by fighting. You're 20, get your Sonya there, and now you can contest it. But most importantly, bait out some of those turrets.
Yep.
Go in, get the items to be used, try not to die, and then regroup and go back in once the items have been used, because there's no chance they win a fight against 3 turrets on the hero.
We see bottomless potions from Deckard. they're going to do well in long fights, you would expect. Jane is in a bit of a dangerous position there.
Turret down, heal down, 2 turrets down. Oh, no. Gary just falling.
There was potions available, but just not where he was. And I think the conveyor belt made it very difficult there for him to get back to those potions. So this is presumably a free objective for Nexus's Most Wanted. They shouldn't have any real resistance.
And they're gonna do the right thing and go aggressive and take down the walls before they get this objective as well.
Yeah.
This is going to open the base up. I will be very surprised if this isn't GG as a result of that. Fat Shove should look for some kills here now. They know they're one person down. Oh. But that's, I mean, that's a low ult for Kel'Thas.
Oh, nice Sphere on the Varian. He's in a dangerous position here, but Protected might just save him. And
Gul'dan died for that, so
yeah.
It was sadly not worth it. And that's, I mean, Garrosh is dead. There wasn't anyone there to protect them, particularly with the Sonya still on her way.
Stay a while.
Living bomb.
So I think Fat Shove will have to sort of fight behind the objective here, try and kill the other 3 heroes, and then clear it up, right? I think that's the only real option.
Yeah, I think you just go on this back line, try to get some kills. But Kel'Thas is being punished by the Punisher, by the Protector.
Oh yeah.
And he's dead.
No mages
gets
left.
Out again because of that Anduin, just dealing with it so well. There's the Anduin throw, but there's no one here to follow up, and the Protector's just hitting that core while Garrosh dies.
Light bomb, nice stun on Sonya and Garrosh. Sonya is trying her best, but
damage from that Jaina on the Sonya there.
Yeah.
Garrosh now throwing to save himself rather than aggressively.
Yeah.
First defensive throw I've really seen. But
yeah. Meanwhile, the Punisher gets the score to 0. It's GG and
Protector, yeah.
2-0 to Nexus's Most Wanted.
There was just no answer there for Fat Shove. So, like, it was a really nice comp. It was the same strategies that they did in the first game, but I don't know how they kind of planned to deal with that. I feel like after the first few fights went the way of Nexus Most Wanted, there almost had to be a discussion of what do we change it to make sure we win the next fight. Because I didn't necessarily see their strategies changing throughout that game. But well played to both teams.
Yeah.
I think, like we said, for Fat Shove, free agent team, it's their first season. There's going to be much more games to come, much more opportunities to practice. And we saw some nice things, like the Grey Maze getting the camp first game, good timings, good coordination for a free agent team off. So
yeah, I think some good signs from Fat Shove. They have the makings of a good team. I think they just need to keep working at it.
Have a captain interview.
We do. Strider has generously agreed to have a chat with us, so we'll see him in the interview room in just a moment.
I was just so happy that I managed to find the interview room quickly that I instantly joined it.
Very nice, well done.
So, joined by Strider. Strider was, remind me which heroes he was playing?
He was the Varian in both games.
Varian in both games. Hi Strider, well done on your win.
Hello, thank you very much. Hello everyone.
Yeah, well
pleasure
played.
To be here. Thank you.
I suppose not necessarily a surprise that it was the captain on the Varian. It was a clear strategy in both games. Didn't have to change it.
Yes. Yeah, we've been practicing that one for some time now. We also me and Bob Zorzen, the Raynor player, we follow Keldor stream, and at one point he was like, "Oh, I'd win a lot of games if I just ran a Raynor taunt Raynor blow up comp team." And we're like, "All right, let's do it."
Yeah, fair enough. Let's do that, and yeah, it worked. So obviously the Li Ming was target banned in the second game.
Quite. Yeah. So our Li Ming player in this case was a sub. So for our other player, and we worked around their Li Ming, and eventually they also said, yeah, they main Li Ming and Jaina, so then we just defaulted to the Jaina.
Jaina, yeah, it's a straight swap in, isn't it? You still get that blow up.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're very happy with how they performed as a sub coming in with that Li Ming. They got some really nice kills in the first game.
Yeah, no, he's a very nice guy and everything. And what we did, I put out a sub request and he showed up and we played a couple of games earlier today. And yeah, no, he's a very nice guy, you know, obviously very competent. So we were like, all right, let's do it.
And I presume from kind of having watched that, obviously from your history as well within Heroes Lounge, you're going to have eyes for getting into the top 8, getting into the Epic Cup.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's always a dream. Last season we were also in Div 4. We were a little bit more rocky season, but yeah, no. So we're aiming. We had a loss the first game, but in the first matchup with the first team. But yeah, no, we're aiming for it, and we've been practicing. So hopefully the practice will pay off.
Excellent. I don't really think it was such an impressive performance that there wasn't really that many question marks for me. You said you obviously been practicing that taunt variant comp.
Yeah. We look at the taunt variant when we were looking at because everybody loves the solo lane, right? I've been stuck in the solo lane, and we were looking at, okay, how can we, on especially 2-lane maps, okay, how can we, or heavily objective focused maps such as Volskaya or Alterac, how can we utilize a taunt blow up comp? So that's what we look for. We look for these Volskaya where it's fight around an objective. At least at our level, it drags on for a while, right?
Yeah.
And so that's that. We utilize it a lot. We've been practicing with the call outs. I say, okay, I'm looking for this person, boom, I'm going taunt, flow. Yeah, and it's been working quite well.
Are you already working on the strategies that you're going to be playing once people start to target ban the variant?
Well, if you notice, they've banned Lunara, I think, in their third ban in the last game. And if you look at our match history, we have historically played a lot of Lunara.
Yeah.
And but our Lunara player isn't playing with us anymore, unfortunately. So so that's our mix-up. We've never played Varian before. Before doing this taunt Varian, I had never played Varian.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it to.
Doing their research didn't work in the favor for Shove that time.
This time, not today, Zerg. Not today.
We were trying to work out what we would do to kind of counter that variant comp, and for us, I suppose the obvious weakness seemed to be having the taunt variant on solo lane.
Yeah, you know, you're right. Like, it's just if a macro game like Azul or Leoric or Malthael that can just bully the variant and just push a lane, it can be very difficult. A lot of people say, in my very, very humble opinion, a lot of people say the solo lane is boring. But if you get sort of it was sometimes prevalent in Volskaya, if you get, especially at the start, if you get a lane advantage where the minions are on their side, you can go up and sort of do ganks yourself as the solo laner.
Yeah.
And so Leoric or Malthael that can just bully the variant off the solo lane and then go and help the 4-man. I think that can,
particularly on Volskaya where you've got that speed boost. Get into mid lane.
Yeah.
Get a taunt and get a kill. Yeah.
Yeah, for example, on a Pale Horse Malthael at level 1, the base 150% move speed on the thing you can get very quickly from lane to lane.
Yeah, definitely. Poppin, do you have any questions?
Nope, nothing from me, I'm afraid. But well played, very nice victory.
Do you want to do any shout outs before you go?
Yeah, no, I'd like to thank obviously the rest of the team. I'm just by myself in the solo lane, so the bulk of the effort was on their end. And also the enemy team. Obviously, you know, it's very hard to be in a free agent team, right? So they're just lumped together a lot of the time. So hopefully they'll have a happy following for the rest of the season. Yeah, thank you guys for casting as well. You know, spending your time watching us plebs play.
No, it's very entertaining. And obviously we were in Div 4 last season, so we're missing it a little bit.
Right. Well, hopefully you'll be back in the next one.
Div 3's a lot more punishing.
I can imagine.
No, well done. Good luck in your next games. Hopefully we'll cast more of your game. We're kind of focusing a lot on Div 4, so we might see you again. And yeah, that's it for now. So hopefully see you again.
Thank you. You too. All right. Thanks for the stream.
Bye. All the best. Bye.
So,
So
I mean, I think that's the thing for me. Fat Shove, don't get too disheartened from that.
yeah,
They've had 2 strong teams so far, haven't they?
they have two. Yes.
So they've had Nexus Most Wanted and Munchies, who are both potentially top 8 teams.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes by losing your first 3 games, you're going to get easier matchups.
Yeah, definitely.
To come back from that, Nexus Most Wanted, they weren't top 8 last season, but I think that was a very strong strategy. And they're kind of going through what we went through, where, I mean, we used to play like lots of Junkrat, and then everyone was target banning Junkrat, so we started coming up with new comps. And all it's going to mean is people start to target ban the Varian comp, and they can just go back to actually what was comfort picks for them anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, they're gonna have a successful season by the looks of it.
Yeah,
they've had some roster changes, so that also makes it a bit more difficult for people drafting against them.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Nexus Most Wanted. I think they can definitely push on to the top 8 this season. I think, based on what we've seen,
keep that sub as well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that was a good sub. You don't always get good subs, but that was definitely a good sub. But yeah, I think they, we obviously we were in the top 8 last season and Div 4, and I think they're definitely capable of finishing there.
Oh, 100%. I think that we would have a really tough game against them.
Definitely, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Cool. Well done, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're going to call it a night.
Yeah, I think so. Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Bye.
Bye.